across the channel at 49 miles an hour, and we were making really good friends with some people waving at us from a cross-channel ferry.
Probably doing about the same speed now in here. Fantastic stuff. Thanks, Pete. And lovely.
It's very clear very quickly that he wasn't probably the best pilot around. And his CO said that on the basis that he put the fear of God into more of his own pilots and observers than he did into the Germans, it might be better if he returned to Bristol and designed another aircraft. 250 and later 375 horsepower, huge amount of power, huge amount of pace. The chap was Andrew McKeever, and he was only on the front for a short space of time, but was immensely successful. Other squadrons did other things. 22 Squadron discovered that the Germans liked to take their guests along the promenade at Ostend on a Sunday. Over 1,000 improvements, including a new engine. But when they tried to fly the aircraft, it was actually not airworthy at all. So Barnwell had to go back out to America, basically take off all the improvements, apart perhaps from the engine, and produce a flyable machine. Joining the Bristol now is the Sopwith Pup. Pup was the first truly successful single-seat scout aircraft, flying with the Royal Flying Corps. Very light on controls, and the water droplets in the fabric of the belt would freeze, and that would lead to the machine gun jamming. The solution was to introduce metal links instead of fabric belt. Probably legend, but it's a nice story.
I've heard that story as well. It is one of those lovely stories, but no basis in fact, I'm afraid. Sopwith had been working for a long time, and unlike an awful lot of the other aircraft of the period, it was pretty much guaranteed not to kill you. Made it very popular, that little factor. As John was saying, single Vickers 303 mounted fine for the Pup for landing on a ship. The Pup was equipped with a number of bamboo hooks at the wingtips and on the rear fuselage, and what happened was, as the aircraft came into touchdown, a number of ground crew up fire, all it did was basically put holes in it, and the thing had very slowly come down to the earth. But they were filled with hydrogen, so what better idea than to mount what is essentially firework rockets on the struts of your...
They realised that the Zeppelins were actually filled with hydrogen. It would have been better if they'd have been filled with helium, but all the helium in the world was owned by the Americans, whereas the Germans were getting an awful lot of hydrogen as a byproduct of their chemical industry, and so they opted for hydrogen instead. Concept developed in France in the 1880s and refined into what was known as the Gnome Rotary of 1908. We have jurisdiction on airframes, but that did not include the engines, so the Navy reserved the right to take the best engines on the basis that flying over water they needed the more reliable engines. So you often find that the difference between Royal Naval aircraft